Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is January 2022 and it has officially been 1 year since graduating from West Coast University. And so that is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. There's going to be Is It Worth It? West Coast U Part 2. So there's going to be 3 things that I'm going to be talking about. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is how much I'm making after graduating as a new graduate. Second thing I'm going to talk about is outpatient versus inpatient, things that I've regretted, all that things, how West Coast prepared me. And number 3, I'm going to be talking about my goals and my career as a nurse. So if that is something you guys are interested in listening to or watching, stick around. So if you guys are new here and you've never seen any of my videos, or you're coming back for the part 2, I graduated West Coast University last year of January 2021, took my NCLEX in March, got my very first RN license job as a hospice nurse in June, and it's been 6 months since working there, and 1 full year of graduating from West Coast University. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is pay, what you will be making as a new graduate. And the reason why I always talk about pay is because of the fact that a lot of nurses or students or people who are looking into West Coast U are skeptical or worried about the pricing of the school and how you will graduate with basically a lot of debt. And I have graduated with about, I'd say $90,000 in debt from West Coast. And then I had about $60,000 left from my previous bachelor's and schooling from UCI. And so if you add that up, it's closer to about $150,000. And the reason why, again, I talk about my salary is because I want people to realize how much you'll be making as a nurse and how you are capable of paying off your loans. And a lot of people are just worried about how they're going to pay for it. When you look up in Google, the basically median average salary for a new graduate pay is like $35 to $40, which is not true because a lot of places are hiring more than that for competitive rates. And so as a new graduate, I did start off with getting paid about $40 an hour, and then later on, after a couple more months, they did increase my pay. So I'm salarying, over an entire year, I average around $105,000. If you look at that monthly, it's around $8,800 a month. That's before taxes. After taxes, I'd say it averaged around $6,400 a month. And so if you're still skeptical about paying for West Coast University, with your career and what you want to do, just know that after graduating, you are able to get a very good paying job. And if you are financially responsible and develop a plan on how to pay off your loans, you can pay off your loans. Okay, it's possible. You can do it. And so right now I am paying about $630 a month, or $630 a month for my consolidated loans, and I have some extra ones on the side. So overall I pay about $700 in loans a month. That does not include my federal student loans. Thank God the forgiveness loan, Biden basically pushed it until May. So I'm not worrying about that right now because interest is not accruing. And so I'm leaving it at where it's at right now. I can pay it if I want to, but I am saving up for my wedding. So there's just a whole bunch of other financial stuff that I have at the moment that I want to focus on as well. So after talking about how much I get paid, was it worth it for me to go to West Coast University? Yes, because after graduating 1 year, I'm already making about 3 times as much as I make before if I never went to nursing school. So financially and mentally, I'm at a better space right now, and I'm where I want to be in life, and the goals that I wanted to hit, I've hit. And so I'm happy with the decision that I made. I'm not forcing anyone to go to West Coast. I'm just letting you guys know my experience, where I'm at in life right now, and what's been going on, because a lot of people don't really talk about life and loans in school, what's after graduating. We don't really talk about how much we make as new graduates, or people don't really talk about their salary. But I wanted to talk about it because I want to let you guys know that you are capable of paying off your loans after graduating. It's doable. It's possible. You're not going to be left with no job that doesn't pay you anything. So just know that it is possible. And the second thing I wanted to talk about is basically outpatient versus inpatient. And after graduating West Coast, what your opportunities are. After West Coast, once you get your bachelor's degree in nursing, a lot of hospitals are looking for bachelors right now in California because a lot of them are pushing for magnet status, and that means that magnet status, all their nurses should be with a bachelor's. And so it's definitely right now better to pursue your BSN, but if you want to go the cheaper route, or if you want to save more money, do ADN, RN to BSN, but it does take longer. You can, once you get your license, you could apply to any job as an RN for a licensed position. Okay, guys, because I've had people worried about like whether or not they can where they can work. Anyways, that's besides the point. An update that I wanted to do is that I actually have, you guys all know that I've been stuck with deciding on if I wanted to do outpatient or if I wanted to do inpatient. And back in November, I decided to take on a second job, which is I applied again for the Kaiser's student pandemic nursing program to work on the weekends. Because one, I needed to save extra money to save up for my wedding, and two, I wanted to really see is if inpatient is what I still wanted. And the reason why I was trying so hard to kind of figure it out early on in my career is because of the fact that if I still wanted to apply to new graduate programs in the hospitals. And so when you're applying for new graduate positions in the hospitals, you have to have less than 6 months of RN experience. And I started my job in June, and basically end of January, I'm gonna have about more than 6 months experience as a registered nurse. So I had to decide, do I want to do new graduate? Do I want to stay outpatient doing hospice? And so working in the hospital, it just reminded me of how much I loved being around my patients, but at the same time, it was hard for me to like be happy with working in the hospital because it's just long hours. I'm stuck in a place. There's no flexibility. I'm cleaning people's poops. It's just a lot of stuff going on in the hospital that I realized that this is just something that I don't see myself doing for a very long time. So why still start an inpatient if I don't want to be there and actually stick with a job that I like and further my career in that? I hope that makes sense. So after working there, I realized that I wanted to pursue and further my career in outpatient and hospice, and then move towards like a nurse practitioner. And so if you know that you want to work inpatient, definitely when you graduate and you get your NCLEX, apply to inpatient, apply to new graduate programs. New graduate programs aren't available all the time. They only happen once, twice, or 3 times a year at certain times. They only take a certain amount of people. New graduate programs are great for you to learn a lot of your clinical skills, your critical thinking skills, and at the same time, you get that mentorship. Versus outpatient, the programs and what they teach you aren't as developed as it would be in inpatient, and plus you kind of have to be by yourself a lot more, especially with hospice. Once I basically had my month of training, 1 to 2 months of training, I started seeing patients on my own, and if I needed help, I didn't have anyone with me. I would have to call my director, I would have to call my nurses and ask them for help. And so if you feel like you kind of need a lot more guidance, definitely go into inpatient first. If you're someone that for sure knows that you don't want to do inpatient, definitely just go straight into outpatient, find your specialty, then focus on there, build your career from that. Because you don't need to go into that first year of inpatient experience if you already don't like that environment. You don't want to get burned. You don't want to get burnt out already that quickly and like hate being a nurse. So if you don't want to do inpatient, you don't have to go to inpatient. Find a job that you like, and then focus on that. That leads me on into like my next step, and like what I wanted to talk about is my goals and my careers. My goal with my job. So right now I'm looking in applying and getting my certificate of being a palliative and hospice nursing because it is a specialty. I really like hospice because you basically practice at the level of a nurse practitioner because you're seeing patients on your own, and you're basically prescribing medications that you recommend to your doctor, and the doctor would basically say yes to this, or basically they'd say something else, recommend something different. But if you're that's what I wanted to pursue. I just like how hospice is and how it just fits better with my lifestyle. So that's my goal, and then maybe in the next couple of years work my way up, and not sure. I don't know what my entire goal is, but I want to stick with what I do right now and just build my career on that, and then kind of see what kind of opportunities open up in the future. So overall, with my career in nursing and me deciding to go to West Coast University, do I regret it? No. Is it stressful to pay off the loans? Yes. Is it on my mind? Yes. Like, there's a lot of things that I have to do in order to tackle on my loans, as to do, like, to pay off my loans. If I wasn't having my wedding, if I lived home with my parents, I could definitely pay off these loans in 2 years. If I was working the weekends, I did, having another second job, which is doable with what I do when I work. There's just sacrifices you have to make when graduating, and you just have to be aware with that. Don't expect to graduate and be like, oh, you're getting paid a lot, and then you're ignoring your loans, and that's how you basically drown in your own debt and in your loans. And so you just have to be aware of your decisions, the consequences of what those decisions are if you decide to take on a loan. But just know that it is possible to pay it off. Just set your goals, work towards it, and you will be able to, be successful and reach those goals. And so if you guys are, interested in talking to me about what I do, and if you're stuck and you graduate, definitely send me a direct message on my Instagram at @crazyann__, or you can also definitely just email. You could also definitely just Instagram DM me, like, any questions you have about West Coast University. I know things are changing over time, and things may not be the same as it used to be before, because I went to school 2 years ago. So you could still hit me up. You guys can just definitely ask me any questions that you have, any tips and tricks and things kind of like that. But yeah, I hope you guys found that interesting. This was like a pretty quick video, but I just wanted to talk about it, how it's been since graduating, and I don't regret it one bit. But it is stressful with having all these loans, which I'm not gonna lie about. So it requires a lot more financial planning and a lot more budgeting to basically still be able to pay off my loans and still be able to pay off my bills and all that stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, if you ever need any help, go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram at @crazyann__, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.